In this video, we'll create the new database table called TBL images. This will store the image attributes as well as associating the image against the task, as a task could contain more than one image. So I've already got MAMP running and I've opened up phpMyAdmin. And the first thing we need to do is to create the TBL images table. So if we click on TasksDB, we need to create a new table called TBL images. And this is going to have 5 columns. Click Go. So the first one is going to be the image ID itself, so we'll call that ID. Following obviously what we've done in the previous videos of this course, the IDs will have a big int to allow for 9 quintillion, I believe it is. And what we need to do, we need to make this a primary key, okay to that, and auto increment. We'll then add in a comment, just so we know what it is, so image ID number primary key. Next field we're going to put in is the title. So this is the title of the image. It's going to be a varchar and we're just going to have 255 characters. We'll put a comment in here and we'll just call it image title. The next one we're going to do is file name. This will be a varchar and it'll be 30 characters. Put in a comment, image file name. Next column is MIME type. And what this is where you store the type of image that you're saving, or it could be the type of file, for example. So it's things like image/JPEG or image/PNG. It basically tells the client what type of file that you're returning. So we're not using really sort of the file extension, we're actually using the actual MIME type of the file. So that's actually a varchar. And we'll put 255 in there. We will give it a comment. So image MIME type, e.g. image/PNG, for example. The last column is task ID. So this is how the image is actually associated with the task itself. So this will be a foreign key which links back to a valid task ID. So this, to follow obviously the same rules that we've got for the task IDs, this will be a big int as well. And we will put a comment in here. So task ID number foreign key. Okay, everything looks okay on that one. We will put a comment in here. Table to store task images, and the collation we will select all the way down UTF-8 general case insensitive. Okay, I believe we're done on this. We're not allowing any nulls for any columns, and that we're not putting any defaults in. We've put all the lengths and values in. Auto increment is just on the task ID, so it should be good to go on that. So if we click save, that's our TBL images table created. There's a couple of things we need to do to enable the foreign keys, but also a unique key. So what we're going to do here, for each task ID, we're only going to allow a unique combination of file names, because you can't have 2 files with the same name. So we're actually going to put that restriction on the database as well. So in order to do that, what we'll do, we'll create an index here. So we'll create an index on 2 columns because it's going to be task ID and file name. So if we click go, and what we'll do, we'll actually call this file name for task ID. It's going to be unique, and we're going to pick task ID and file name. And then if you go on that, so you can see now that's created a unique restriction on an image for a given task ID. So the last thing we need to do is to associate this task ID with the foreign key or the primary key in the TBL tasks table. So we click on relational view and we'll just give it a name. So we'll just call this image task ID FK for foreign key. We want to on delete restrict. We've covered this obviously in the previous lessons of this course. Basically this allows you to prevent any deletions or updates if there's associated images. So what we need to do, we need to associate task ID for the TBL images table with the tasks.db, and the table is TBL tasks. The ID is task ID, so that's just the ID there. So that'll actually link the said image to a given task ID. So we'll save that. And now that's done, that is the database table set up, ready for what we need to do in the future lessons.